Hello and welcome to another episode of Put Me in Coach podcast on episode 22 and the Diamondbacks versus Blue Jays game 3 try and go for the sweep. Did we do it? No, we didn't. No, we didn't. Just to be honest of it now, it was a good game, but fortunately, it just didn't go our way. Jose Fernandez is playing shortstop, so Perdomo is taking a break today. Um, Adrian Del Casio playing DH. Vargas playing first base. James McCain playing catcher. Also, you see first base. I'll explain that later on and stuff. And then the rest is pretty much the same and stuff. And then Jorge Barosa came in to play right field because of Corbin Carroll got injured. Something went wrong with his back when he came up to play. Just didn't look good for him. I think he just tweaked his back a little bit, and then fortunately, he kept playing. He went out the right field and still played and stuff. But somehow enough, later on they put him out and but Barosa in. So Barosa came in to hit as well, and then Tim Towell also took a chance to hit as well, and he also played for third base and left field. But I will explain differently of those later on and stuff. But fortunately enough for us to lose pretty badly, not like crazy badly. The score was up for the Blue Jays for a big time today and stuff. But I like to see hits. Again, I think Corbin Carroll, I'm not gonna blame on him because of the injured and stuff. It's totally fine and stuff. Nolan Arenado went 0 for 2. I don't know of it. Later on, he got out as well. Just get a little break and stuff. But pretty much the rest got some base hits. So again, I understand we lost, but we're hacking the ball more often and stuff. We're not getting the runs we needed and stuff, but it's better to be on base than not getting on base. So we love to see the positive on that, but we want to get some runs on those as well, and we just didn't get enough to get back in the game and win the game and stuff. But we did get some runs, and it just was not enough to win or get back in the game and stuff. So love the fight, but again, I'm going back and forth with this. I apologize for that, but again, I would definitely say, again, I'm going to say again, they fought to it, but again, not enough. And I'm sorry, I'm saying the same thing. I don't know, it just doesn't cross my mind with that. It just, I don't know. That's just what's going through my mind, okay? And so, okay. I will explain of the other things where people came in and stuff. So, Tim Tawa actually came in the 8th to play third base for Nolan Arenado, and then in the 9th, he changed positions. So what he went to left field to play, and that was at the time he actually came up to the plate and bat the first time in the game. So that's that. In the 9th, there was a lot of people had to change and stuff. James McCain was actually the catcher, so he went to first base, and then Vargas was at first base. So fortunately for that, he had to go to third base instead. So that's why Tim Tawa is now in left field and stuff. And then Amaris Garcia is getting his first debut as a catcher for the Diamondbacks, so good to see him. Fortunately, we didn't see him at bat, but just to see, just having these players to have some, playing time and stuff, and just get some experience with MLB and the professional and stuff. So hopefully we can see him in the future, and if he comes really good, and we'll see and stuff. So that's why enough you see, why Tim Towel played third base, left field. It's weird enough if he went third base and then left field, just like in 2 innings and stuff. So it's kind of crazy to think about that. So that's that. Pitching wise, Ryne Nelson got lit up today. Not gonna lie and stuff. I don't know. This is probably the toughest he got at this time. He only won 1 inning. It's pretty tough. Gave up 8 hits, struck out once, walked once, and gave up 8 runs. All in 1 inning. And so it's kind of crazy. And then Kevin Gausman for the Blue Jays. I really like Kevin Gausman. I was a big fan of him when he was on the Orioles. He went 6 innings, gave up 7 hits, showing enough of the bullpen for the Diamondbacks are doing good as well. He struck out 4, gave up 1 walk, and gave up 2 runs. So not too bad. Obviously, again, he did get the win because his offense got more runs than the Diamondbacks did. So that's that. Now I'm going to talk about the bullpen for the Diamondbacks. Andrew Hoffman went for 3 innings and stuff, and then Brandon Pfaadt is first time seeing him in the bullpen. He went 7 innings and did pretty good. So that's pretty much of that. Again, I wouldn't really say anything wrong about Andrew Hoffman and Brandon Pfaadt. I think they did a great job just giving up only 1 run from both of them and stuff. Ryne Nelson just needs to get a little better. He's a good pitcher overall. These things are just going to happen. Gallen's kind of the same thing. We just got to look at our homework and stuff and then just figure out of enough, because I just thinking the Blue Jays thought enough of like, okay, we're down 0-2 in this series. Let's get back into this and actually win this game. And I think they just showed the best they can to not get swept today. So they just won on hacking on Ryne Nelson, and that's just what happens. And they got a lot of runs off of him and stuff. The interesting enough, he got pulled out in the first inning, and then after that, Andrew Hoffman got 2 more outs just to get out the inning. He only struck out once, and that was the only out he got. So, again, it's not too bad. I think his ERA is going to go high because of how many runs he gave up and how many outs he got just by in one inning and stuff. So, not too bad and stuff. I've seen worse, but it is bad, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't want to talk about wrong things about my boys and stuff, but he did get lit up today from the Blue Jays offense, meant to say, and stuff. So that is that. Scoring wise of enough, Vlad Guerrero Jr. hit a 2 RBI single to make it 2-0 in top of the first. Gasma Akamoto hit a 2 RBI double to make it 5-0 top of the first, and then Nathan Lucas having a 3 RBI double to make it 8-0 top of the first with 8 runs in the first. Fortunately enough, I didn't really talk about every runs on the board and stuff. These are just the most topics I want to talk about and stuff. So, 8 runs in the first inning. It's kind of crazy to think about that and stuff. And again, they just been on hacking on Ryan McCain. Not Ryan McCain. I'm looking at James McCain name, and I got Ryan McCain right away. Ryan McMahon, by the way. No. James McCain got a RBI single, just get it on the board of 1-8 and bottom of the second, just see some runs for the Diamondbacks. And then Kazuma Okamoto hit a solo home run to make it 9-1, top of the third. And then Jorge Barosa hit a two home run to make it 4-10, bottom of the seventh. And that was the final score, 4-10 for our loss. Our record right now is 13-9. Not bad and stuff. I prefer we win, but fortunately we just didn't get the win and stuff. Just another day. Progress. I love the offense. It's just we just need to capitalize on scoring. I think that's the most biggest thing we need to look at and stuff. And I think in bullpen looking good. Just starting, we need to do better. I understand about on Ryne Nelson and stuff. It's just this day was just not his day and stuff, and that's pretty much of that and stuff. So that's the only thing I would say about progress right now and stuff. I did talk about enough of I went to my niece's birthday party. There was like this ninja like park thing, like indoors, like bouncy, fun gymnastic type of situation for kids and stuff. I think my niece Claire had a blast and stuff. Fortunately enough, I did make the birthday girl cry and stuff. I will talk about it and stuff, but fortunately no, I think she did really had fun. She turned 5 years old today and stuff. So it's just good to see, family wise and stuff, and seeing Claire just have some fun and having some cake and presents and have fun with her friends and her family, because her my second cousins are very close age as her, so they're very close as family wise to Claire and stuff. They're pretty much like cousins or I don't know what you call them and stuff. But I didn't meant to make my niece cry on her birthday and stuff. This was just at the very end and stuff. Basically enough, like she was like the only person was like upstairs and stuff, and I guess she's ready to play more. She wants to go and play again. We're enough of like we're about to leave, like I don't know if she understand that and stuff. So what really happened, she just took her shoes off and she just told me, it's like, I want to go and play and stuff. Like she's gonna go downstairs and she wants to go to play and stuff. She likes to hold your hand to go downstairs. I'm not doing that. I could do it, but it's just like I'm not gonna let her play, because we're about to leave and stuff. And then I just told her, just like, well, like our time is over, our play is over. Like we're not gonna play anymore and stuff. Like I'm sorry about it. How about you put your shoes back on? And immediately enough, she just went straight to the floor and just started crying. And I apologize and stuff, pat her on that back, and just like I didn't really meant to make you cry and stuff. And I apologize again and stuff. I don't know. I told my mom, just like, did I do anything wrong? Was I rude to my own niece and stuff? I'm not your mother, so I have no idea. Fortunately enough, the father of the child's father, and generally of enough, the grandpa, I meant to say it enough of the grandpa to the father of the kid basically came in, kind of had a little rescue to Claire and stuff. So what really happened, he just told her, like, hey, just put your shoes on, we'll go downstairs, take the shoes off again. I don't know why he did that. And then she went and played, and I guess my mom, not my mom, sorry, my sister, Katie, she just basically let her own daughter to play and stuff for just a little bit and stuff. I think she just stopped crying from there and stuff. And then I thinking till the time enough of, again, she didn't really had a long time to play. I think she got like about 5 minutes to play. Like, it's not long enough. Like, you've been playing for a good, like, hour when we've been here and stuff. You had plenty of time to play and stuff, and you're telling me you want to keep playing while we're trying to leave? You know, like, everybody was just is ready to go, and you just want to play. So, hopefully enough in the future, I'm not a bad father, you know? I don't want to be a bad father. I want to have discipline and, you know, have some, you know, the rights to my own kids in the future if I did have kids and if I get married, whatever, and stuff. Um, but, you know, I'm trying to be, realistic, I guess, with my niece and stuff. I didn't really meant her to cry because, like, we're about to leave. Like, it's like we're done. Like, there's no time to play. We're ready to go and stuff. And she's 5 years old, and she doesn't understand that and stuff. And fortunately, after she got out the house, out the place and stuff, still crying and stuff. In the grandpa's arms and generally. So again, comments on if I was wrong and stuff. I didn't really meant to make my niece cry and stuff, but yeah. So fortunately for that, the game was in the middle of when I was at the thing and stuff. When I got home, it was already 9-1 in like the fourth inning and stuff, where Brandon Pfaadt came in and pitched and stuff. So what I wanted I wanted the Diamondbacks to have a comeback, get some win and stuff. I would love to see that, but fortunately, just it didn't really happen to us and stuff. And that's just the game. It's what it is. You can't win every game and stuff. And hopefully they learn from this and stuff, and hopefully they come back and get some wins off of other teams, because we're done with the Blue Jays and stuff, and we're gonna go now with the White Sox. I think we're still in Chase Field at this time and stuff. So that's pretty much that. Rel Kelly I think this is his first time being in Chase Field for this season and stuff, so good to see him coming back home, because obviously he's ASU guy. So hopefully we'll see good things with him on Tuesday. Tomorrow on Monday, got a day off. I'm glad enough of that. Today was just like took a break, these 3 games, and then take another break. I'm fine with it. I like to see more, but fortunately, sometimes enough, I like to take a break, So it's what it is. Hopefully you guys see me to another episode and stuff for the Diamondbacks on Tuesday. Hopefully you guys have a great day, and thank you for watching.